Hi there, it's Lisa Fitzpatrick here from Sacred Women's Business, and I'm so excited to be joining you to interview the wonderful Kate Moody from Radiant Wellbeing. Hi Kate, how are you?
I'm well, and yourself, Lisa?
Yeah, terrific, thanks. So excited to be here. This is an
Yeah, wonderful to be
encore.
here.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. This is our encore for the 3 secrets of feminine success. We're so happy that that we've been able to provide this recording finally to our communities. It meant a lot to us to get it to you, but our last recording unfortunately didn't go through. So we are making it up to you all by offering you this repeat recording. Welcome. You are so welcome here. And I wanted to take a moment to, before I introduce our beautiful guest Kate properly, I just wanted to introduce you and say that you completely belong here. It is absolutely right for you to be here, to take some time out for you, because this is actually your time, and it's really a call for you if you've been stuck in overwhelm and you've been feeling time poor. Then this is perfect, this opportunity to imagine that you're in circle with many other women who are experiencing similar feelings to you. So you feel like you've got a big mission in this lifetime, but you're also a little bit unsure if you've got the energy after all has been said and done in the busyness of your day. You're just not sure if you really have what it takes to achieve all that you dream of achieving. Because after all of the busy work and the demands of others and even just basic life tasks, you can't seem to fit in the luxury of dreaming and of building your feminine success. And you're going to hear on this call 3 very powerful steps to help you out of your overwhelm and into what I call your feminine essence, so that you can draw from that unlimited pool of nourishment within you. And we're moving out of a very patriarchal time right now. So why did we call this the secrets of feminine success? Well, it's because feminine success is very different to that masculine or patriarchal success. So masculine success is a very outward-focused success, which really does look more at the external trappings, like what's in your bank account, what does your home look like, what kind of car do you drive, what title or status do you have. And we're moving out of that time, because that time has been you know, we've done our time in the patriarch. It's time for us to move into the feminine, which is a much more internally focused energy. And it's an energy that's cyclic or circular in nature. So it's quite an intangible and immeasurable energy. It's very receptive in nature. It's a reclining and receiving energy. Now, the masculine is more of a doing energy. It's a direct or logical, pushing forward, focused and pointed energy. And it's really no wonder it's also known as a sun energy, and it's no wonder as a sun energy that it's burning us out. And we're literally feeling like when we're in our masculine, we are so outwardly focused and so charged that we're feeling frazzled and burnt out and a little bit fried, in fact. And so with this call today, it's with our earnest and sincere intention that we help you to take back the reins of the feminine, which allows you to come back to your internal focus and go more into a receiving and reclining energy as a healing balm to your burnt out nervous system. Because every single one of you will be drawn to listen to this, because something in you is aware, or it knows how important this version of feminine success is. So I want to congratulate you for having that knowing. So I'm going to be, without any further ado, I'm going to be really excited to introduce Kate to tell us more about this feminine success. And masculine success is about doing and having. What are you doing with your life, and what have you got materially? But feminine energy really is just about your beingness. Who are you being in your beingness? And when you're in beingness, you're in presence. And that means there's no worries and anxiety about the future. There's no depression or heaviness about the past. Because you don't need to prove or do anything. You are enough in this present moment. And this present moment is all that there really is. So let's just be in this moment. Turn off any browsers. Turn off any distractions that you might have. Pop your earphones in so that you can listen with a streamlined, internalized focus. And let's introduce the beautiful guest. So, our beautiful guest today. So, Kate is from Radiant Wellbeing. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Lisa.
How are you?
I'm good. Really, really excited to be here.
Fantastic. It's wonderful that you're here. And I'm just wondering, Kate, if you can let us in a little bit about your story, and we'll also be very interested to hear how your story relates to the first secret of feminine success, the importance of unplugged stillness.
Yeah, sure. Yes, so delighted to share the essence of my story. So the first secret of feminine success is being able to unplug and really connect deeply into that internal resource of inner stillness. So for me, I have really learnt this one the hard way. So the essence of my story prior to coming down with the chronic fatigue syndrome, I lived a very busy, chronically busy lifestyle, probably for the first good 15 years of my life when I left school. Completely dedicated, committed and overcommitted to life goals, to my corporate career, to doing training and study on the side. And in that time, because I was just so chronically busy, I really started to, over the years, really negate and not listen to the needs of my body. So I wasn't giving my body adequate rest and nourishment. And so as a result, in early 2010, my body simply could no longer keep going. And so on the 1st of January, I can remember in 2010, I just woke up on that New Year's Day and I simply could not even lift my head off the pillow. It was like this heavy blanket of fatigue that just heavily pressed down upon my body. And I just knew something was really seriously quite wrong. And so from that place, I pretty much stayed in the place of being bedridden probably for about a week, thinking, at that point in time, I really wasn't sure what was wrong. I thought maybe it was a virus. And so anyway, so I went off down to the doctor and just got all my blood chemistry tested out, and then it actually came back that I'd actually had a post-infection of the glandular fever and also the Epstein-Barr virus. And then probably 6 months later, it was then confirmed that I had the chronic fatigue syndrome. So that's pretty much where my health crisis started from, and it really was a crisis, and it was a process of initiating that healing process. And so the very essence of how I truly do believe and how I recovered as quickly as I did over a period of 4 years was it was a process of coming into a place of acceptance, which involved a grieving process of the significant loss of life and health and the identity. It was definitely an identity crisis as well that I went through in being an independent woman and very much living from that masculine space, just in the way that I drove. I was very driven in my life. So as soon as I came into that place of acceptance, the next kind of initial process of that healing process was then coming into a place of surrender. And that's a lot, not as easy as said as done, as I'm sure many of you have perhaps experienced along the way. But once I got into that place of surrender, that's when I was able to to deeply start to tap into that inner stillness within. And that truly was really the essence of my healing and recovery, was being able to give myself that permission to rest back into that stillness. So prior to coming down with CFS, I was very much living in the extreme of busyness, in doing, in the masculine, and so this healing process, it was almost like I had to then go back and experience the extreme of beingness, being in that stillness, resting back into my feminine nature probably for the first time in my life. And so in that place of stillness, which was where I rested in that place for a good 13 months, because I was actually bedridden and housebound in that period of 13 months. It was at times awful, but my goodness, I can so see the beautiful gifts that have come out of it. So in that place of resting in that stillness, that's where I started to really connect into that place of what was actually driving me in my life, what was driving the masculine, so that I was so out of balance that I was had depleted my feminine energy. And I arrived at a very genuine place of just not getting it on a mental level, but just getting it on such a soul and fundamental level, was that who I am in this place of just being is enough in this world. And in that was the turning point of where and how all of my CFS symptoms began to shift and lift, and that's when my energy and health started to strengthen just by month after just that initial deep realization that who I am is enough in this world, when I'm just completely just being and not wearing a particular, perhaps, hat or role or mask to, like we all do in our own different ways.
Wow, that is so relevant too when you think about how much we plug into in our
totally
era. We've always got this multitasking happening. Well, I certainly know I'm often in a juggle with kids and with technology and with all of these commitments we have. So do you now feel, Kate, that your ability to access unplugged stillness can be a fairly easily incorporated into your daily life? Because obviously, we don't want people to feel they have to get sick and have a period of 12 to 13 months bed rest.
Not at all.
We want to instill this sense that it's okay for women to take sips of this unplugged stillness. So what would your routine be like, everyday life?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, definitely. So look, honestly, even when I was in that process, even though when I was in that place of starting to tap into my inner stillness when I was bedridden, the process, how I started to access that, and anyone can work with it in this way, whether it's about maintaining the well-being or recovering from a health crisis. It actually comes back to the breath and body awareness. So in that time, and this is even now how I access my stillness throughout the day when I'm actually going about, doing my task and in my business, and where there is output required, and there is a level of perhaps masculine energy that I'm tapping into to move forward with everything, is very much just being able to breathe deeply into the belly and down into the womb space, because for women that's where our seat of our personal power resides to, and our feminine energy and wisdom. And so the more that I find that you connect deeply down into your belly, into your womb space, and with that intention of just connecting into to that quiet center within. So regardless of what is unfolding around you, it's like that you're connected into just not only that sense of stillness, but also just that sense of steadiness and stability and groundedness as well. And that's an experience. I'll take everyone through at the end, towards the end of the call.
Fantastic, Kate. That would be wonderful. I love it how you said maintaining that sense of groundedness in the body as well, because I'd also posed that question: how many of us are walking around, or how many people tend to breathe into their upper body and the breath doesn't reach into that lower part of the torso and that lower, even into the, the pelvis. So the belly breath itself has been very much compromised by this busyness. And
yes,
I love
definitely.
it that you mentioned that. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So what would let's move on to secret number 2 then, being able to see something that I guess women are really fascinated by this next one, aren't they?
Yeah.
So the importance of listening to intuition and seeing into you, how is that, how does that contribute to our ability to form healthy boundaries around our time and around our yes and no?
Yeah, sure. So one of the keys to my healing process was definitely connecting very deeply into my intuition. And I found the more that I was connecting deeply into that stillness and resting into that place and grounded in my physical body, the more that I was able to really strengthen and deepen into my intuition and trust the intuition and that internal guidance that I was receiving as to what was, the next step and the right step for my healing process for myself. And so I see how, and I really do take that particular gift and the wisdom that came out of that, and I'm constantly applying that into my life now. So when it comes to really trusting my intuition, it's about, for me, it's about really honouring, what's right for me in a given moment, really connecting into that place of, what's the nourishment that I need in a given moment that will, continue to sustain my energy and well-being. And I believe, when we can trust our intuition, it's life and our health and well-being truly does flow from that place within.
So do you believe, Kate, when we talk about seeing into you or seeing into your intuition, and also how very connected that is to being able to access the unplugged stillness, do you believe that we have the capacity to receive, a benevolent information that will steer us on a path to our greatest well-being or our greatest potential through this ability?
Yeah, I really truly do believe so. I know, like for me, the initial healing process through my chronic fatigue syndrome, and to be honest, I see, my healing process is actually really the collective healing journey and process for every woman on this planet. For me, it was actually learning how to it's about, the healing journey was actually about really coming back home deeply into my feminine essence and replenishing my feminine energy, and it was about rebirthing a whole new masculine paradigm within myself internally, so that as I've come through the other side of the chronic fatigue syndrome, it's now like the polarity of my feminine and masculine are actually now united and joined, and I'm finding that the more that I've actually integrated and reconnected, because both men and women need, we need, in order to flourish our health and to move forward in our businesses and life goals, we actually need to be connected and grounded in both our feminine and masculine energy. And I just found the more that I was replenishing and connecting deeply into my feminine energy and beginning to trust my masculine energy, because in the past it was almost like my masculine was literally just not allowing my feminine to have no say in in what actions or steps I was taking in my life. And so it's almost like she felt like she was just being dragged along, and hence over time, she got depleted. So coming back to your question, I find, and I see this in my clients as well, is that the more we get grounded into our feminine energy, replenishing the feminine energy and and connecting the masculine so that the two are dancing and united together. I'm finding that, and rebuilding the trust of the masculine internally. I'm just finding that there is that capacity and ability to start to really deepen and strengthen and trust the intuition that arises from our feminine energy.
Beautiful, Kate. That's really, really well said. I love the fact that there's a pendulum that's been swinging, and the swing, the pendulum swung very far into the patriarch, and we're seeing a lot of those masculine structures actually disintegrating. But the beautiful thing is that we're not saying that the masculine is necessarily a bad thing. It's merely being out of balance, and you're absolutely right. Your ability to access both polarities, and also to, I feel, with that concept of intuition, know that there's a deep bone wisdom that has balance at all times available to us.
Definitely.
And your decisions, are really being informed by this balanced and functional and sustainable approach to your life. That's incredible.
Yep.
And so I'm going to ask you a little bit of a curly question now.
Yes.
Because I know we certainly marketed our call to some degree to those of us who struggle maintaining our healthy boundaries around time, relationships, and money.
Yes.
So my question is, when we know that something is a no, why is it that women find it so difficult to enforce their deep intuitive no? And what would you say is your best strategy for enforcing a deep intuitive no, even when we know it might inconvenience others?
Yeah, definitely. So, look, and this is definitely a work in progress for myself as well. So, my response comes from a place of personal experience and work in progress. But in responding to that curly question that each of us are all juggling and just discerning our way through, for me it's about really discerning and really, again, it's kind of deepening the breath, really coming back home into my body and just feeling into, okay, where am I at in a given moment, and I guess one of them is about being able to discern where and how I place my energy and through the day. Because one of the things I had to learn through the chronic fatigue syndrome was discerning how many units of energy I actually had, in a day, and so that I tend to probably take the way that I was working with my energy levels through the chronic fatigue syndrome. I actually take that level of discernment now into a day-to-day basis and discern, okay, really, realistically, how many units of energy do I have today, and where and how am I going to discern who and how I give my energy to, and so it's about, again, being just so deeply connected into that stillness, connecting into my intuition, into the womb space, into the belly, and just asking my body, is this where I'm putting my time and energy to, is this going to nourish me, or is this actually going to deplete me? And so that's actually how I've been learning to really discern healthy boundaries that are going to actually honour where I'm at on a given day-to-day basis. And that's quite often, that is, when I say that's very clear internal yes to myself, then I'm able to, and it's feeling connected into my truth, into where I'm actually physically, mentally, emotionally, perhaps, spiritually at. And then in turn it's giving that very clear no to others, and again, I think you also need to be prepared that you're not going to actually probably please everyone when you actually start to be really true and authentic to yourself. But I do find that the more that you are authentic with yourself and others, the more that your health and well-being just flourishes. And you know, I think another part of it, which Brene Brown, there's a really beautiful quote that I'd love to read out here because I really do believe it is connected into this question. There's a quote that she has here. It's, if we want to live a wholehearted life, we have to become intentional about cultivating rest and play, and we must work to let go of exhaustion as a status symbol and productivity as self-worth. So I know that was very true to me because part of my health crisis was also an identity crisis because I actually realised that I'd placed a lot of my self-worth around my identity of actually being an independent woman and working in the corporate world. And so it was almost like that healing crisis. It completely broke me apart and down and stripped me bare back down to my soul in letting go of all of those different, caps and hats and masks that I wore that I actually had based upon my self-worth. So I think at the end of the day, for me, it's about just completely giving myself that permission to be so authentic in the relationship to myself and others, and I have noticed that my health it is just continuing to flourish.
That's fantastic, Kate. What a beautiful quote, and what an incredible and powerful thing that we can give permission to anyone listening to this. It is okay for you to celebrate beingness itself, and that means you do not have to do anything to be a very worthwhile. Just the very essence of you being is more than enough. And
absolutely,
you don't need to have anything either. You don't need to have a money in the bank. You don't need to have a fancy career title. You are enough as you are, exactly as you are in your beingness. Nothing else required.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful gift for everybody to know that is that it's absolutely okay. Thank you, Kate. That's beautiful. I'm going to move us along to the next secret now. And this one is, I'm pleased that you led us into this next one with that importance of listening to your own authentic inner being. Because our next secret, our final secret, is to be on purpose and be true to our purpose. And the interesting thing is that many women come to me for soul purpose coaching, and I'm always fascinated because they often know exactly what it means to them to be authentic to their purpose, and they even know what their purpose is. But there's something that they've been afraid of living it fully because they're frightened, first of all, of what other people might think. So that masculine outward, focus is certainly, that comes into play. And they're also perhaps frightened of their own power, which is a huge thing I notice with so many women who come to us. And I also, with living a purposeful life, what does it actually mean to you to be on purpose? And in a way, that doesn't require you to go into a particular vocation or field. What it means to be on purpose is that you're bringing awareness and presence to all that you do, and that when you're being present and purposeful, then your life becomes meaningful, and it starts to organically infuse you with this life force or this vitality. And that in itself starts to unfold quite magnificently in your life, in the fact that you are starting to live in ways that are really authentic to your soul and really authentic to your innate genius and innate talents. And the other part of this is that when you're living on purpose, that it often takes a big challenge in life. And Kate's story is the perfect example of this, that a deep, dark crisis which strips you away of all that might be false or all that might not be serving you, so that you can really get to the heart of your authentic being. So a purposeful life will certainly reveal itself in a fairly organic and easeful way, so long as you can actually be very present and very purposeful in the way that you actually do the small things in your life. Is there anything you have to add to that, Kate?
No, not really. You've pretty much summed it up. I know for me, with regards to, for me the chronic fatigue syndrome, when I went through my health crisis, it was definitely a wake-up call to really to really deeply align myself and my soul to my dharma and my purpose in this lifetime. And I was getting there, and I was making plans to to continue to align, but it was almost like the universe, it just had other plans. And I think that's the key. Sometimes when an illness comes about, or whether it's depression, I think sometimes when we probably haven't quite got ourselves out of the way and we're perhaps attached to things looking in a particular way, I think that sometimes when we kind of get that big semi-truck, that kind of Mack truck that comes through and wakes us up. And so, yes, I completely agree with what you're saying.
Absolutely. And I'd like to also mention an amazing resource, a book by Bronnie Ware. She was a palliative care nurse who worked with the elderly and the dying. And she, came across the top 5 regrets of the dying. And when people were questioned about what their regrets were, the number 1 regret for every person was that they wished they hadn't listened to everyone else all the time about, this is the exact quote, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself and not the life others expected of me. And many people realised that as their life was almost over and they looked back clearly on it, they could see how they hadn't honoured even, half the dreams that they had, because they were busy accommodating other people. And the interesting thing about that is that many of them felt that their illnesses that had eventually claimed their life had been because they hadn't lived authentically, and that had eventually taken that life force, to an extreme level. Which is just tragic, but we can all learn from that. But then, interestingly, number 2 regret was, I wish I didn't work so hard. And I think I see it in my coaching clients a lot, that when they get excited about being given permission to be on purpose, they will often then burn the candle at both ends, because they'll throw themselves in so wholeheartedly to this new, life that they've been wanting for so long. But then they will immediately tip the scale towards the masculine again. And that is where we want to encourage every single person here to be aware of this incredibly nurturing and nourishing new way of being in the world, where you can be on purpose and you can also be very well balanced in your feminine as well. And that's why I'd like to really give your incredible training a bit of a plug, Kate. Is that okay with you?
Yes, that's okay.
So Kate is facilitating an amazing training coming up in Melbourne this year, 2014, and it will be especially for those women who would like to access the deep healing around their feminine through the yoga process. And this in itself is revolutionary, because Kate is pioneering the very thing that we need as women, to be given permission to restore, to recover, to receive, and to really be aligned with our deep feminine physical body wisdom in order to make the choices that are right for us. So Kate, tell us a little more about this, and I also understand you have a great process that you'd like to take us through as well for our last 10 minutes.
Yes, definitely. So how much time do we have?
We have got exactly 9 minutes.
9 minutes. Okay. So I'll share the essence of the training, and then I'll move on to the process because I'd love to actually spend more time taking you through the process. So, so the essence of it's a women's vitality and restoration yoga teacher training, and it's for the recovery from a health crisis and restoring feminine vitality. And so the training modules are designed to introduce you to the healing power of restorative, a yin feminine style of yoga, meditations, relaxations and self-soothing practices aimed at supporting and honouring the sacred rites of passage and the transitions women experience throughout their life cycle. And so we've got the beautiful Lisa who will be there definitely sharing about taking you through quite intimately the pelvic anatomy for women and accessing our feminine Shakti and wisdom and some really beautiful, luscious teachings, and she comes with a lot of experience and wisdom. The lovely Catherine Smith, who is a dear friend and colleague of mine, who's a brilliant naturopath, and she'll be taking us through nutrition, working with the nutritions and herbs at different stages through the menstrual cycle and that transition into menopause. And so the beautiful Anna Davis, who has her own pre- and postnatal yoga teacher training, she'll be sharing with us really beautiful feminine yoga sequences for the different stages throughout the menstrual cycle and again the transition into menopause. So it's going to be a really beautiful, heart-centered, juicy, luscious women's yoga teacher training, and I'm just really excited to be delivering this in June and August in Melbourne. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. And where can we direct people to find out more if they'd like to?
So if they'd like to find out more, probably best to contact myself. So probably I'm happy to give my mobile number out. That's 0439 995 730, or my email address.
I was just about to say, if there's non-Australians, the Australian prefix is 61 as well.
Oh, got it. Thank you. And my email address is kate@radiantwellbeing.com.au, or come and play and connect with me on Facebook. I've got a Radiant Wellbeing Facebook page and of course my personal Facebook page.
Right. Yeah. Okay. You have a beautiful website at www.radiantwellbeing.com.au for those of you who can't see the slide. And I'd like to also invite you to join myself at www.lisafitzpatrick.com.au. Pick up your free audio, the 7 Keys to Soul Purpose Success, and join my community. I love feeding and nourishing my tribe with weekly e-zines. So you're very welcome to come and join the Sacred Women's Business community, and also come over and like us on Facebook. And we have such a treat to start to wind the call down now, because Kate is going to take us through a beautiful exercise. Thank you, Kate.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, so wherever you may be, whether you're sitting in a chair, lying down, maybe on the couch or floor, just beginning to just bring your attention to your breathing, to your body, and just beginning to breathe in and out through your nose, and just beginning to deepen the in-breath down into your belly, down into your womb space. And you may like to just place your left hand over your heart, right hand over your womb space, and just simply just breathing in and out through the nose, just deepening the breath down into the body. And just with every out-breath, just giving yourself just that permission to let go. Just allowing yourself to meet you just with gentleness, of tenderness, softness, just allowing the breath to deepen the internal connection to yourself. As we just allow your awareness to flow down into your feet. So as you're breathing in, just tightening the muscles through your feet, holding, and then just letting go through the out-breath. Allowing your attention to flow up into your calf muscles, into your lower legs. Breathing in, just tensing all the muscles through the lower legs, holding and relaxing, just letting go through the out-breath. Awareness flows up into your thighs, and as you're breathing in, just tightening the muscles through your thighs, holding and relaxing, just letting go through the out-breath. Awareness moves up into your buttocks, and as you're breathing in, just tightening your buttock muscles, holding, just gently releasing through the out-breath. Tension moves up into your belly, and as you're breathing in, just drawing your navel towards the spine, holding and relaxing, releasing, and just letting go through the breath. Just really allowing the muscles through this abdominals to soften, just letting go of any anxiety. Just deepening the breath down into the womb space. As we take our attention up into the chest, and as we're breathing in, just allowing your chest cavity to expand, allowing the sternum to lift towards the chin, holding, and then just releasing through the out-breath. Awareness flows up into the shoulders, down through your arms, into the palms of your hands. And as you're breathing in, just tightening the muscles through the arms, curling the hands into a fist, holding and releasing, and just letting go through the out-breath. Just allowing a warm wave of relaxation to carry your awareness up into your neck. Just allowing the relaxation just to bring warmth, soothing, caressing the muscles through your neck as your attention moves up into your face. And as you're breathing in, just tightening the muscles around your eyes, your cheeks, your mouth, your lips, jaw, holding and relaxing, releasing, and just letting go through the breath. And just simply allowing your attention to be with your breathing, just observing the natural ebb and flow of the breath, the rise and fall of your chest and belly. And just allowing your awareness of the breath just to carry you in, just to a place of just nurturing, stabilizing stillness within. Just observing how the breath caresses you from within, your organs, your ribs, your belly, your womb space. And then just allowing your attention to begin to flow up to the crown of your head. And just in your mind's eye, just imagining just a golden radiant light above the crown of your head. And on the next in-breath, just visualizing the light flowing down through the crown of your head and just bringing warmth and nourishment down through the body, into the cells, the organs, just replenishing the immune system, soothing the nervous system, balancing the endocrine system, deeply relaxing the body, calming the mind, just allowing your awareness just to simply be with your beingness, with the softness of your femininity, and just breathing, just the softness, your awareness just down into the tips of your fingers, your feet, just gradually beginning to bring movement through the hands, the feet. Just with every in-breath, just being aware of the boundary of your body, your skin, your arms, your legs. And then you just may like to just take your arms above the crown of your head and just giving your body a wonderful stretch. From fingertips to toes, and just breathing appreciation down into your body, down into your heart center, down into your womb space, feeling that connection with the earth. And then just gradually just moving, stretching your body just in ways that feel right for you. And just simply being. And welcome back, and may this stillness, the peace, or whatever it is that you've experienced, may it be carried in to the afternoon, for you to simply be with who you are.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much, Kate.
It was my pleasure.
That was beautiful. So amazing, and thank you everybody for listening through with the call today, and we'd like to both send you a big namaste. The divine in us sees the divine in you. Remember your true nature, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the training or in another reality on cyberspace. And thank you so much once again for joining us.
Definitely.
Farewell. Namaste.
Yeah, goodbye. Namaste.